So for this recipe, we're going to need a pound of spaghetti, half a cup or so, or half a cup plus more to serve of Parmesan cheese. You can use whole tomatoes if you like, but I love these little cherry tomatoes, and I've just cut them in half. And it's probably overkill, but we love tomatoes, and these are just absolutely wonderful. I have got a couple cloves of garlic, one small onion. I've diced them both. Salt. About 2 tablespoons or so of balsamic vinegar. This is a balsamic glaze that I make. It tastes just like the Outback Steakhouse, the balsamic glaze they put on their blue cheese wedge salad. And I'm using that because I don't have any other blue cheese, or balsamic vinegar in the house. So I'm just going to use that. But around 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. I've got Italian seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, pepper, olive oil, and a little bowl because I'm going to mix these seasonings to coat the chicken. And this is 3 chicken breasts that I have just filleted in half. My kids can't eat a whole chicken breast, and rather than just cutting them in half down the middle, and they cook faster, they're easier to cut for me, they'll eat the whole thing, so I just do them all in half. I've got some water on to boil for the pasta. I've got a rack ready here because I'm going to sear this and finish cooking it in the oven. And I got my pot here to start searing off. So let's get started. Alright, so I have ground some black pepper into a bowl. I'm going to add a couple good pinches of salt. Quite a bit of salt, actually. It's got to be 6 breaths. 2 teaspoons or so of, let's do a little bit more, of Italian seasoning. Do just a half a teaspoon of onion powder, and we'll do a whole teaspoon of garlic powder. Alright, put everything back up. This is what I'm going to use to coat the chicken. And then I've got my chicken here, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on. I don't want to cross-contaminate everything, but you can pat it in if you like. It doesn't really matter to me. It'll all get in there. Even if it flakes off, it'll be in the sauce. So, there's one side. Let's see what I do with my tongs. Flip it over. And then do the other side. Just like that. I said be liberal, season these guys up good. And I've got my oven preheating to 350 degrees. I know it's probably not necessary, but I don't know. I get really scared about undercooked chicken, especially with children. So I tend to always try to finish it off in the oven. So, all right, this is getting warm. I'm gonna do a couple turns of olive oil, and I'm just gonna let that heat up. It's about, you can already see it rippling. Well, I don't know if you can. Yeah, it's already starting to ripple. Got a piece of Italian seasoning in there. Alright, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and get these going. Looks like I'm going to have to only do 2 at a time. Here, I thought I was going to get 3 in the pan. Alright, and see this? How it's not budging? Don't move it. That means it's not ready. Yeah, see how it's resisting? It means it's not ready yet. Don't try to pull it off the pan. Don't try to pick it up too early. Let it sear, because as soon as it's done searing, it'll let go of the pan. So I'm just going to, I have a timer that I usually set for 3 minutes. That way I don't get tempted to start flipping it or messing with it, turning it over. So I'm going to let this sit for about 3 minutes, and then I'll turn it over. Alright, timer went off. I went ahead and, while I was waiting on the chicken, I went ahead and seasoned both sides of the rest of the chicken breast. And see, yep, see, it lifts right up. Nice and brown and pretty. See this one, yep, comes right up. Alright, another couple minutes. Alright, came right up. That means it's ready. I'm going to go ahead and put this on my parchment and get the next two right in. And I'm going to go, just because the sauce is going to come together super quick, I'm going to go ahead and get my pasta going. Alright, all my chicken is done. This is going to go quick. All I'm going to do is add a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to add the onions. And I'm going to soften it just a little, because it's going to go quick. This is almost done. We will be done here in just a second. I can get all my onion. No soldier left behind. And it's got all the seasonings and the salt and the pepper and all that down here, so I don't need to add anything to it. While that sautés, going to add my chicken to the oven. Alright. See, the onion's letting juices out, and it's starting to help bring up everything off the pan. All those chicken bits, all these seasonings. Alright, so I'm just going to let them cook for a little, because this is going to be the sauce. So I don't want the onions to be too harsh. So, I said I've turned my heat down to about 3. And I'm just going to let them cook. My pasta is just about ready. A few more minutes. These are going to be good. Yep, I'm going to let these cook down just a little bit. Alright, that's about done. I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic and cook it for just a second. And I said my heat's on about 3, so it's on relatively low heat. And I've just let these kind of caramelize. Just let them cook down. You can see most of the bits and pieces have come off the pan. Now that that's done, I'm going to turn my heat off. And I'm going to add all of my tomatoes, and I'm going to go have Bug pick me some basil from the garden. So now that the heat is off, I'm going to just cook these just like that. And these will start to soften and blister all on their own and make a sauce. So like I said, heat's off, sauce is done. Alright, you can see that it's kind of made a sauce. I don't know how well you can see. But just sitting over the heat, and it has created, yeah, nice sauce. Go ahead and season it with salt and pepper. Add a pinch of sugar if you want to kind of balance out the acidity. But because this has sugar in it and it's sweet, I'm not going to add sugar. So I'm going to start by adding a tablespoon first, and then tasting it to see if it needs anything, because you don't want to overdo it, because you can always add, but you can't take out. So I got 1 tablespoon, and I think my noodles are ready. The sauce is just about ready. The chicken's been cooking, and I'm sure it's ready. And see, that vinegar too will help break it down and help make more juice. So let's take a little sip. Get a tomato. I'm I'm going to add just a touch more vinegar, maybe half of a tablespoon. I'm going to add a pinch of salt, and it is done. Done, done, done. So let me drain my pasta, and we'll be right back. Alright, the sauce is ready. I said I've tasted it and adjusted it. I said all I did was add a little bit more salt and just a little bit more of the glaze, and it's good to go. So this is ready. I'm going to go ahead and get some tongs. There we go. And my pasta's done. I'll throw that in. And I'm just going to stir and mix all of this together. Actually, you know what? Let's get something to get these tomatoes up. And just mix it in the best you can. Make sure all that tomato juice is coated everything. And the tomatoes are all through the pasta. And now I'm going to add, why not? That was probably a really healthy half a cup of Parmesan. Get all of that mixed in. Oh, it smells so good. And my chicken is out. Yep, it's done. I went ahead and I'm making Cheddar Bay biscuits to go with this. So those are in the oven. It looks so good. And that's done. And I'm going to take some of this glaze, and I'm just going to put a quick drizzle right over the top of the chicken. I said this is completely optional. We just happen to really like this glaze, so I said completely optional. Alright. And then along with the biscuits, just a green salad. And this is my big pasta bowl. I love this bowl. I think I got it at an estate sale for like $2. I use it all the time. This is my favorite serving bowl. But I said along salad, and I've got some homemade blue cheese dressing that I'm going to serve it with. The biscuits will be out of the oven here in just a second. Yeah, and that's done. I'm just going to transfer this into the bowl and put the chicken on top. Alright, there it is. I'm just going to make Daddy's plate first. As I make a mess. Need a better pair of serving tongs. Alright. Big old piece of chicken. Roll. And a salad on the side. There it is. Throw together tomato pasta. Hope you enjoy.